Macron thanks President Sisi and the Egyptians for their warm hospitality. Egypt's foreign minister emphasizes Khartoum process as a key initiative for managing migration. And Egypt announces offering stakes in military-owned companies through its sovereign wealth fund. French President Emmanuel Macron has left Egypt after a three-day high-level visit to the country. After the three-day visit to Cairo and El Arish, Macron expressed gratitude to President Sisi and the Egyptian people for the warm reception, discussions, and their close bilateral relations, as well as everything they do for the region. In a video posted on his official X account, he said this. He added that the 3 days would remain in his heart and that France could always be counted on. The Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdel-Ati has highlighted the Khartoum process as a crucial initiative for managing migration between the Mediterranean and the Horn of Africa. That came during a press conference at the Khartoum process meeting, where the Egyptian, French, and German foreign ministers regional migration challenges. Abdel-Ati stressed the importance of human rights-focused solutions to illegal migration, integrating humanitarian and developmental efforts, and Egypt's success in tackling illegal migration. He also welcomed Sudan's return to the initiative. France's Minister Delegate for Internal Affairs has praised Egypt's leadership of the Khartoum process, highlighting Cairo's effective role in promoting regulated migration and migrant rights. He emphasized that the Cairo Declaration strengthens Euro-African cooperation against irregular migration. Germany's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs echoed appreciation for Egypt's humanitarian role in hosting refugees and stressed the need to create job opportunities for migrants. That came as an upcoming London conference will address actionable steps to combat illegal migration. Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdel-Ati has exchanged views on the Palestinian cause with the UAE Foreign Minister Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan. The counterparts discussed Gaza's situation and regional tensions as efforts for early recovery and reconstruction in Gaza. That took place on the sidelines of the Middle East America Dialogue Conference in the UAE. Their discussion focused on strengthening bilateral relations in politics, economics, and trade, following directives from the Egyptian and Emirati presidents. Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdel-Ati has reaffirmed Egypt's backing for President Joseph Aoun and the Lebanese government. That came during his meeting with former Lebanese Minister Najib Mikati on the sidelines of the Middle East America Dialogue in Abu Dhabi. Mikati praised Egypt's steadfast support for Lebanon. They discussed Lebanon's political landscape and regional dynamics. Abdel-Ati also emphasized Israel's withdrawal from disputed areas and the full implementation of the UN Resolution 1701. They also discussed Gaza's ceasefire efforts and reconstruction plans. Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdel-Ati has emphasized the urgent need for humanitarian, medical and sheltering aid to reach Gaza to alleviate the suffering of the Palestinians. That came during a phone call with the U.S. Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff, where they focused on Gaza's situation and the ongoing efforts to establish peace. Abdel-Ati also stressed the importance of a political solution to the Israeli aggression on Gaza, which ensures the establishment of an independent Palestinian state within the 1967 borders, with East Jerusalem as its capital. Egypt has received approximately 107,000 Palestinians who underwent the necessary medical examinations. Deputy Prime Minister for Human Development and the Minister of Health and Population, Dr. Khaled Abdel Ghaffar, also noted that 27,000 Palestinian children have also been vaccinated. Egypt's hospitals have received more than 8,000 injured Palestinians suffering from various wounds, accompanied by 16,000 companions. More than 5,160 surgeries have been performed, and 300 hospitals in the 26 Egyptian governorates have received injured and sick Palestinians. There are currently injured Palestinians in 176 hospitals across 24 governorates in Egypt, with accommodation and food provided for all their companions. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has attended a ceremony to mark the Egyptian Drug Authority receiving Maturity Level 3 certification from the World Health Organization for both medicine and vaccination regulations. During the ceremony, Madbouli praised the achievement, noting that Egypt's domestic pharmaceutical production now covers 91.3% of its needs, highlighting plans to boost the country's drug exports from $1 billion to $3 billion by 2030. This recognition makes Egypt the first country in Africa to achieve the status in both sectors, placing its regulatory system among the most advanced globally. The Egyptian Ministry of Health and Population has announced that Egypt is the first country in the world to achieve the gold tier status in eliminating hepatitis C. The Egyptian Ministry of Health attributed this success to the community survey, the President's initiative to eradicate hepatitis C, and early detection of non-communicable diseases. Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Health noted that global and regional health systems are facing rapid changes and crises requiring flexibility, preparedness, and efficient resource management to meet community health needs while ensuring health security and universal coverage. Egyptian Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has emphasized the current global economic turmoil, urging countries to act swiftly to mitigate any negative impacts. He highlighted warnings from experts about the potential for a global wave of inflation and recession in the near future. The Prime Minister assured that Egypt is focusing on securing essential goods, especially amid the ongoing global economic conflict. He also confirmed that the government is preparing for various scenarios to navigate the economic challenges ahead. A group of companies affiliated with Egypt's Armed Forces National Service Projects Organization will undergo restructuring and management changes through a new agreement with the country's sovereign fund. Deals signed with several specialized local and international consulting firms are part of efforts by relevant state agencies to implement the government's offering program. The newly released statement revealed that these agreements also include the offering a group of firms from the Armed Forces National Service Project Organization, including the National Petroleum Company, Shell Outlet, Silo Foods, as well as Sophie and the National Roads Company through a group of specialized local and international consulting firms. Egypt and France have signed financing and grant agreements worth €131.5 million to implement the third phase of the Jebel Asfar wastewater treatment plant and a new wastewater treatment plant in East Alexandria. The agreements include the financing of €68 million and a €2 million grant from the French Development Agency for the new wastewater treatment plant in East Alexandria, benefiting the Ministry of Housing, Utilities and Urban Communities. Additionally, the two parties signed agreements for the Jebel Asfar wastewater treatment plant project, including financing of €50 million from the French Development Agency, a €1.5 million grant, and a €10 million grant from the European Union, managed by the French Development Agency, also for the Ministry of Housing, Utilities and Urban Communities. France's Alstom has signed a usufruct agreement for a 40-fiddan plot in Burj Al Arab to establish an industrial complex for the production of rolling stock units, railway components and infrastructure systems in Egypt. The complex will comprise two manufacturing facilities. The first, spanning 13 fiddans, will focus on producing railway electrical systems and components, including signaling systems, control panels, wiring, and other infrastructure elements. The second facility will be dedicated to manufacturing various types of rolling stocks, such as light rail transit or LRT vehicles, rails, and high-speed trains. Also on the sideline of the visit, a separate protocol was signed between Alstom and Egypt's General Authority for Investment and Free Zones, GAFI, to facilitate the development of industrial complex. Egypt and France have signed 4 healthcare cooperation agreements, reinforcing long-standing bilateral ties and expanding collaboration in vaccine awareness, digital health solutions, rare disease care, and cancer treatment. Egypt's Ministry of Health and Security signed 3 protocols. The first focuses on vaccine awareness with doctor training in the underserved areas. The second targets diabetes care with campaigns, educational content, nurse training, and a digital monitoring platform. The third aims to raise awareness and reduce genetic disorders through public campaigns and professional training. An additional agreement with the Gustave Roussy Institute will establish a specialized cancer treatment center in Cairo. The Central Bank of Egypt has purchased 47,700 ounces of gold during the first 3 months of the current year, bringing its total reserves to 4.124 million ounces. Global prices supported an 18% increase in the value of its gold reserves, exceeding approximately $12.6 billion by the end of March 2025, compared to $10.8 billion at the end of 2024. It is worth noting that net foreign exchange reserves rose to $47.757 billion by the end of March, compared to $47.393 billion at the end of February 2025, an increase of $364 million. The value of foreign currencies included in the monetary reserve reached $35.136 billion by the end of March, compared to $35.524 billion at the end of February. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin. Here's what we've been covering. Macron thanks President Sisi and the Egyptians for their warm hospitality. Egypt's foreign minister emphasizes Khartoum process as key initiative for managing migration. And Egypt announces offering stakes in military-owned companies through its sovereign wealth fund. That's all for now. Remember to stay updated by following Q News for the latest developments.